Hi, everybody. Hang on, I'm just getting it set up on my phone. So just in case I miss any comments, I can see them. This will be the final part of this video series. One second, let me get the live chat up. Okie dokie, get the live chat set up. So, this will be the end of this cover. I should be I'll definitely be getting it done today. And then I'll be moving on to bigger and better things. So as you can see, I've already started some of the final inks. I was working on them a bit this morning. And I'm just going to keep going. So as people show up, I'll start answering questions, and in the meantime I guess I'll just talk about what I'm doing. So I'm just adding thick line weights in places where I think they need to be, thin pulls in other places, to create the illusion of depth. Now again, I'm working on the iPad Pro, and this stage of the process definitely is not as good as it is on my computer. I feel like sometimes my final inks look a bit sloppy on here compared to other places. And the reason the quality looks all choppy of the actual inks itself is because the file I'm working in is the actual output resolution, which is 400 dpi, and generally I like to work in 600 dpi. I used to work in 1200, which was ridiculous because I would just end up exporting to a much lower quality anyway. So this I can tell a difference with my brushes when I work at a much lower quality like this. Bad. So in this stage I do flip the camera around quite a bit because I'm trying to get the best angle for me to do my thin to thick pull, and this is something I would do traditionally as well. As you can see, I click undo a lot. Hey Woody, how's it going? I'm clicking undo a lot because I just don't like the way the final inks that I do on the iPad I don't feel like they're fully getting. I'm not getting the line exactly the way I'm picturing it, if that makes any sense. If you got any questions, Woody, just feel free to ask. You know it's an early morning stream for most, especially for Americans. I don't even know, I would assume Americans are the majority of my audience, but I really don't know. You can't see it because you can't see my cursor with the iPad, but the lines that I'm creating are moving much slower than the actual speed that I'm pushing the brush, and that's because the stabilization is up super high, because without it it's just a very wonky line on this device. I'm hoping that over time that things will come out to create. It's just because the screen is so smooth that the pencil just slips all over the place. So like I said on the other stream, I'm hoping to get that Kickstarter screen cover that makes it feel like a piece of paper. My dog is with me today, but she's currently not snoring. But she is asleep in my lap. Because that's all she does. Oh, that was a cheeky snort there. Again, apologies for the profile view. But until Apple makes it so you can stream directly to YouTube, I have to go through a different program on my actual iPad for this to work. I mean, it's pretty ridiculous. They should let you directly stream your screen. I know they let you stream from your camera, but I'm not doing that. So I'm doing the thin to thicks on his beard here. Now his hair is black, and I've been debating to make it, add some more colour in there. I mean more solid blacks, but I don't know. It will kind of take away from the thin to thick pulls that I'm doing. And if you know my artwork, I rarely do a lot of solid black. You can see if I zoom out on this project, you know, not too much solid blacks in there. Because colorists today are amazing. Oh, there's a big snore. Colorists today are amazing, and they can they don't need to rely on our solid blacks for lighting. So I'm hoping to get this whole thing done in about an hour and a half. And for any people out there from the UK, I'm doing a couple of drawings for some spine art. And by spine art, I mean when you buy a series, like a collection of trade paperbacks, it makes, you know, one big image. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that. Like if you buy a book collection, once you have them all together, it makes one giant cool image. I've been doing some Deadpool drawings for this big spine art collection with a bunch of other artists. And it's for a collection of UK comic books. Well, sorry, not a collection of UK comic books. It's a collection of a bunch of Deadpool trade paperbacks, like all the best Deadpool stories, but it's being printed for UK buyers. So anybody in the UK, I'll obviously keep people posted on that, but if you want to start getting a subscription to a bunch of awesome Deadpool trades, then you'll get my art on the spine work. And I asked for a comp of it as well. And they were like, all right, well, we can give you a comp, but just to let you know, it's like 80 trade paperbacks. And I'm like, that's fine. I like free stuff. And it would be cool to have on my bookshelf a giant Deadpool image. And it would also be cool to have all of the trade paperbacks of all the best Deadpool stories. I wonder if my Deadpool work would be in there. Probably not. But I would definitely love to work on Deadpool again. I would love to write and draw my own, like, on the main Deadpool book. I think I would have a lot of fun doing that. That's why I've got to get on finishing my personal projects so I can start showing Marvel, hey look, I can write too. I'll be the next Declan Shelby. So I'm adding a few more. You'd be a good fit for sure. Thanks, Seawood. So I'm adding a bit more renders in this area because I think it pushes back the back part of his hair. What's the comic scene like over here in the UK? It's pretty good. There's a few good conventions, like London Super Comic Con. That's a great convention. There's definitely a lot of comic book readers and fans. Yeah, it's not bad at all. There's not as many comic book stores though. There's a few, like the town I live in doesn't have one, so I have to order my. I'm fully digital now with my comics. I used to buy them on eBay from a comic book store, but I just don't have the space to store single issues, so I get them all digital now. So my Comixology today should have a few new titles in it. And I read Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I read The Walking Dead. I read Batman White Knight. I just picked up the new Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles second crossover. And what else do I read? Star Wars. I read Kill or Be Killed. It's a good book. Extremity by my buddy Darren Warren Johnson, which is a good book by Image. Spawn. Yeah, I got a lot of books going. What comics are you guys reading? You guys hear the seagulls outside? I live in a seaside town, so a lot of seagulls. Trying very tediously not to make the inks too thick. Hey Branko, how's it going? Do any of you guys know if you can stream simultaneously, like on YouTube and on Twitch? I went back and reading New 52 Batman, some image stuff. New 52 Batman, one of the best books. The book that inspired me to pursue my career. I'm good. I just want to get this cover done because it's been looming over me and I've got other deadlines. I've got to start doing some Venom stuff today. And I really want to do this Turtles cover as well. But that has no due date, so everything else has to take priority over it. I've been working on that freaking Turtles cover for months. I keep having to push it back because so many other little projects pop up. Again, for people just joining, feel free to ask any questions. Like, why do you suck so much? Why is your art so bad? Why does Marvel let you draw stuff when you're terrible? Because I hit deadlines, god damn it. It's wise words is you don't have to be the next Jim Lee. You just have to be the guy that hands it in on time. Oh, my dog's snoring again. And if she's not sleeping, she's chewing squeaky toys. She's the worst streaming dog. There may... Well, I mean, not the killers of talent. I think deadlines keep all of us in check. Otherwise, we'd take a long time. Sorry, I just missed a question there. Can we get MP3 of your dog snoring so we can listen to it before falling asleep? Well, yeah, for a price. It's a pricey, high quality dog snore. Only the finest. I'm surprised you'd want that to fall asleep. I have trouble falling asleep because of that snore. Just inking the hand that I think looks terrible. It's okay. I'm trying to under ink it so it doesn't pop out so much. Okay. So I was doing these cool renders on this guy's head to show that, you know, kind of like Deadpool, basically. Some blue skin over some underskin. So I just switched my brush to something that has about 80% less stabilization, because I don't need a stable brush to do the renders on all these little lines I've created here. I just want to add a few little extra thin to thicks. The goal here is to make it look like I did this all in one little brush stroke. And then obviously I'm going to add a few little extra bits. And there's not too much rhyme or reason here. I'm just trying to make sure that the thin to thicks don't all go in the same direction. Just whatever I think looks best. No one's ever going to notice these little lines anyway. This is all for the colorist to make shapes out of a mound of dirt. But this type is really relaxing, because you don't need to focus. You can't really go wrong with it. It's just more about just doodling away, which is nice. I'm gonna add a few dots in there, so I may go in and add a bit of a spray brush to it, as if I had put some ink on a business card and flicked it on to those bits, just to make it feel a bit more like it's natural dirt, and to make the ink stand out as a different texture than to the rest of the piece. Hopefully the sound of Luna snoring is not putting you to sleep. So a few little lines through his costume there. Thoughts on Marvel getting the movie rights to X-Men? Announcement soon, I think. Well, if it does happen, I think it's an amazing news. I cannot wait for them to introduce the X-Men into the MCU. What a great next phase. Because, to be honest, after Thanos, I don't know what the state of the Marvel Universe is going to be in. I don't know what heroes are going to be left. It seems like they were going to move into a sort of West Coast Avengers or a new Avengers team, which obviously is not as exciting. But if they can move their next stories into being about the X-Men, like, Marvel will be the king of everything. It will be the best cinematic experience of all time. And I just think it makes sense, because if you look at the Marvel Universe, they're slightly following the comics. Like, you've got all the main Avengers first, which were the first heroes to come out, and then some of these side heroes, and then now you've got Spider-Man, who came out in the mid to late 60s. Did the graffiti on the wall in Secret Wars 10 get approved? It did, and it's in the book. So you will see your name, if you can make it out. In the colorist also colored all of them differently. So you guys are officially Marvel canon. And that book is out today, I think. Pretty sure it came out today. But yeah, I'm looking forward I haven't seen Thor Ragnarok yet. I had to miss that one in theaters because I've been so busy. But I want to definitely see that film. I thought they'd be doing a big reboot after Initially War, but with a young Spider-Man plus X-Men, it'd be a crime. I think that they should get. I don't think whatever the X-Men movie. I haven't watched a new X-Men movie since the sequel to First Class. So I don't have any interest in what's going on in the cinema. I didn't see Apocalypse. I'm not going to see the Phoenix film. I think they look a bit crap, and I think they're being a bit mismanaged. Where if you introduce them into the Marvel universe, I just think, get Kevin Feige in there, and we'll make some magic happen. I do think that the comic book movie bubble will burst soon, and I don't think the Marvel movie. I think Marvel is now its own category. I don't think they're comic book movies anymore. I think they're just Marvel Cinematic Universe. They're just that popular. They'll continue to make movies, but all these other companies, they'll keep producing subpar films that audiences will lose interest in. Because I think audiences are going now to see these Marvel movies because it's all connected, and that's the exciting thing. Oh, I definitely want to see Ragnarok. I have to wait for it to come out on video. Because I also have to look after this snoring little monster as well. And if I left her to go see a movie, she'd be devastated. Or she'd just sleep. I'm also looking forward to the idea of Deadpool being in the Marvel universe and being, breaking the fourth wall and talking about, potentially the deal itself. Like, oh yeah, I'm here because, Fox finally made a deal with Marvel Studios, so here I am. And everyone being like, what are you talking about? It's like, oh, don't worry about it. What even is this hand that I drew right here? No one's going to notice it, but these fingers make no sense. The good thing about filling an image with a bunch of crap is not not many people can notice the real bad stuff. I still feel like it needs a bit more of an outline. Doesn't seem to be popping as much as I'd like him to be. So let's expand him by 2. Fill. Yeah, that's better. Yep, that's a good best excuse. If someone says, "What's going on with the hand?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, it's lost fingers. It's all mush, all mushy mush." Now this guy's hair, I'm not going to go into full detail on inking it out because I think it would make it stand out too much. So I'm just going to leave it there with all those thin lines. I like this dude with the beard. So what's everyone doing? Are they at work? Are they getting ready? They got a day off? They're at school? What's going on? You drawing? Are you drawing yourself, or are you just saying that you're drawing? Well, if you let the sweet sounds of my dog snoring take you to a wonderful place where art comes easy. Mexican for dinner? Where are you then in the world? Because it's like 11 o'clock in the morning here. I love Mexican food. I think I'm having fajitas tonight. I don't know if that's Mexican, but I make a mean guac as well. I'm pretty good. My guac game is strong. My fiance does most of the cooking. I do most of the cleaning. But man, when it comes to guac, I'm the man. I'm a guac man. Australia. I would love to go to Australia one day for a comic convention. But it's a 24-hour flight for me. But it would be cool. I know Todd Knock did it with his wife. Well, he went to New Zealand, I think. No, actually, I think he went to Australia as well. think he did the con in New Zealand and then vacationed in Australia. Definitely two places I would love to go, New Zealand and Australia. Melbourne Con? Well, hopefully they'll invite me one day. That'd be awesome. I was supposed to do a convention this month in Italy, but due to deadlines, I couldn't go. That'd be awesome. I'd love to go to a Dutch Comic Con. I love the Netherlands. I love Viking lore. Some of the coolest stories in Viking lore and characters. And I'm pretty sure I do actually. I have my ancestry is Scottish and Netherlands. That's why I have a big ginger beard, because I'm a Viking. Did you see that news that popped up? I thought one of you posted that. I was like, okay, thanks for the info. I'm actually making good time on this, which is good because I didn't want this to take all day. So I'm just adding some wood texture to this bat. Yeah. Doing some shark teeth renders. And I might... Yeah, it looks better. Oh, I forgot about this cool guy down here with the hook arm. These guys were pretty fun to draw. I think that's why I put so much detail into this cover, was because I really wanted to draw a bunch of Road Warrior / Raider, Fallout Raiders. I just thought it'd be fun. And turns out it has been fun. Getting paid to have fun. I do like the post-apocalyptic genre. Definitely. What is my least favourite thing to draw? Let's see. Well, I would say cars, but I just use 3D models for them. But if I had to draw an actual car, I probably wouldn't enjoy it. And guns, same thing. But in a more artsy-fartsy answer, my least favourite thing to draw is something that I have to draw, that my heart just isn't in it. You know, if I have to do a page that's all about, you know, a couple of characters talking in like a park or something like that, and I'm just not in the mood to draw that, and then my, you know, art feels like work. That's my least favorite. Or I guess my least favorite thing to draw is to ink a page that I haven't fully penciled. I kind of gave up on. Hands, I used to hate drawing hands, but over time I've gotten better at it. I guess I never really liked drawing feet. I always try and cover them up in most of my stuff. Or I really hate drawing full body. Because you have to it takes a long time and everything has to be perfect. Where, you know, drawing these little guys' heads in the background. Like drawing Kurt Russell here. Like standing and all that stuff. It takes a long time, even like this girl standing up back here. But just drawing like this big hench dude here holding something, that was easy. It's more whatever's just the quickest, I guess. I'm lazy. Did you study old artists like Steve Ditko, John Romita Sr. when drawing Spider-Man? When I drew Spider-Man, I definitely looked at some Ditko, but my main influence was from Todd McFarlane, because he's the reason, that Spider-Man book's the reason why I got into comics. But I've studied Steve Ditko. Actually, a lot of the way I draw hands is heavily inspired by Steve Ditko. I love the way he draws hands. Not so much John Romita Sr., but some of my favorite older artists are Jack Kirby. I've definitely taken his storytelling and his pop into consideration with my artwork. And I'm a major fan of John Byrne. He does really interesting stuff with backgrounds and textures. And the way he draws buildings specifically, I've definitely put into my own work. And I do like a lot is John Buscema. I think he's one of the best comic book artists that ever lived. His figure work is real solid. If you want to learn how to draw just a figure that looks like it's well balanced in gravity, then look at him. A master. Oh yeah, John Romita Jr. is one of my biggest influences of all time. Not only storytelling, but I would say the way I draw clothes. Like when there's a pinch point, he's just like, it's fabric! And I love that. I mean, especially if you look at this jacket even, there's a lot of heavily influence from John Romita Jr. I used to try and draw exactly like him, but I just couldn't. He's too good. A lot of people don't like his artwork, but a lot of people are stupid. Oh yeah, he's super fast. What does he do, like 3 pages a day? And works on the big book, so he makes royalties. He does 3 pages a day, so he does, 3 books a month? And he makes royalties off of all of those, and trade sales. That guy's got money. Sells original art. That's why he was one of the reasons. If you look at any of my old stuff when I worked on that, like especially that indie book I did, Todd. If you look at my stuff back then, I was over rendering everything because I just loved Spawn and I loved McFarlane and Capullo. So I was just adding like tick lines after tick lines everywhere because I just thought it looked cool, but it would take frickin' ages to get anything done. And then it took Todd Knock and John Romita Jr. and I looked at their stuff and I was like, these guys produce work quickly. It looks awesome. They focus more on getting nice line weights than renders. And even with John Romita Jr., like, not so much spotting black as letting just the artwork breathe by itself and letting the colorist to let the colorist do a lot of heavy lifting as well. And it really changed my perception on what good comic book art is, because you know when you don't have much knowledge about just comic book art in general, you just think of all the top guys like Jim Lee and all that stuff, Tom McFarlane, and you think, oh, that's, if you want to be successful in the business, you got to be like them. You've got to put in tons of detail because that's what people want. People want to see tons of detail, but no, it's not true at all. I think people just want to read a good story. Because we're definitely living in a climate where the writer is king. No one really cares. Like, there's so many reviews, comics I've done where they don't even mention my name. It's all just about the story. And of course, it does annoy me. You know, it's like, hey, I'm actually the one that's put the most work into this book. It takes longer to pencil and ink something than it does to write it, to edit it, to color it. But it just goes unnoticed. I mean, as you guys can see when you watch these videos, how long it freaking takes to draw an image. Something that someone will look at this cover for maybe 10 seconds maximum at all the little stuff, and then they'll be like, anyway, so I'm going to open the book and read it now. And I don't know if you noticed this, but when you read a comic, sometimes you barely even look at the images. They're just sort of there for accompaniment, so it takes a long time. That's why I'm definitely digital, so I can produce work quicker. Just want to say hi. I have not much time to watch live today. Great to see you doing this again. Thanks, McPepper. Sorry that you can't stay for longer. It's okay. You won't hurt my feelings too much. I'm only slightly offended that you have other things to do. I'm adding a lot of texture in this piece just because I feel it needs it, so it feels a bit grungier. So I'm going for the grunge. Man, do you think comics gonna survive next 30 years? Of course. Comics have been around for forever. They will easily survive. Image is doing so well with all of their books that the comic book industry will be around forever. The debate on are comics going to survive has also been going on forever as well. So, no worries there. Yep, definitely. Sales are going down on certain titles. It's not across the board, everybody's suffering. And even though sales are going down, Marvel had a very profitable year this year. Because a lot of people just look at the single issue sales and think, oh my god, we're losing the market. But when you look at those trade paperback sales, whew, people are making cheddar. And that's not including all the sales from all the old stories they've made. They're doing absolutely fine. It's all conspiracy theories, I tells ya. Like, for instance, Great Lakes Avengers that I did, the single issue, it got cancelled due to single issues. The sales weren't very good. But the sales were actually pretty good on the trade paperback. Higher than expected. Not high enough that they'd renew the series, but certainly higher than expected, which is a good thing. So if you're creating your own comics, would you say a paperback sells more than trade paper? Do you mean trade paperback does better than floppies? Definitely. Floppies is like... It's kind of more for the core comic book fan, but selling trade paperbacks is what the big business is all about. Trade paperbacks have revolutionized the comic book industry. That's where all the sales go to. So you get your core audience in the floppies, and you get another tier of core that just wants to read it in trades because they like to have a big, bookshelf collection of stuff. And you just get people that just like buying trade paperbacks as well. Because the trade paperbacks you can display, you can give it to someone, you can share it. Like floppies, I think floppies are a bit old-fashioned. Like, they're just like a little magazine. And you have to put them away. And if you want to get them out, you have to take them out of the plastic you put them in because you think that they're worth something. And I think they're a huge faff. I really do. Honestly, I really don't like single issues. It's cool for me because, one, I get to draw a bunch of different variant covers. And it's also cool because I get to see my comics come out. And, when you get a comic that you've made and it says your name on it and it's in a floppy, it's very exciting. But when you have about 10 or 15 books that you buy monthly, and you start getting them, and you're like, where the heck am I going to put all of these? Because I'm really trying to declutter and change my lifestyle with that less clutter. I've thrown away so much stuff this year, and donated stuff, and sold stuff. Because I was like, do I need this? I haven't used this in 3 years. What am I waiting for? Yep, but you have to remember that they were also selling for 50 cents to $1. And the comic book market definitely did crash in the 90s. Because people were buying them because they thought that they're going to be able to put their kids through college with Spawn #1. But they didn't realize also that Spawn #1 printed like over 3 million copies in their first print run. And a lot of it's the people reading comics has stayed the same. It's the speculator market that's changed. Yeah, and digital sales don't even, when you look at monthly sales, digital sales aren't even included in that. Digital sales are not released for public knowledge. So that is like, okay, well, we have literally no idea how well digital does. Alright, I think this cover's done. Just gotta do my signature. I don't know where I want to put it. I don't really see a good spot. So I could put it here, but I think it might stand out a bit, but... well, I'll just draw it here and then we'll see. I've been experimenting with my signature recently. It's gonna look... It's looking different every time I do it. But I've started doing my full last name so that people know exactly who's drawn what. I don't like these signatures where you can't understand who's done it because I think that's silly. Add it on the belt of the guy at the front. I'll take a look at that in a second. It's funny, I actually spend way too much time doing my signature. But that's okay. So where did you think it should go? Where did you think it should go? I might put on this gun. So like you see my signature here. It's different from that one there. Different from that one there. If you watch the progression of this piece, like there's a completely different signature. There's a different signature. That one's a bit more similar. I just can't make up my mind what I want it to look like. Recently, I think that this one looks pretty cool. Pretty happy with that one. The guy in the front and on his back. See, man? Well, if I put it here, then it would be actually in the next issue. And if I put it here, then it might get cut off down here. I could always make it white and put it on that guy's head. That might be pretty cool. Let's try that. No worries. I might put it on this guy's head because then it might sort of delve into everything. And then when the colours go in, it will be less noticeable. Yep, I'm happy with that. Okie doke, guys. That's that cover. Thank you for watching the creation of it. I'll be doing more streaming of other stuff. I definitely want to stream me doing the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cover. And you'll hear me singing while doing it, and many other Turtle songs. And yeah, thanks very much for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next